Good morning. I am Day. DAA are my initials. I am in recovery from loss, grief, trauma, and addiction. In my years of active recovery, I have found that upon awakening, it is useful to affirm and devote myself to the me of my recovery, the one that ties all of the pieces together gently, lovingly, and sometimes even fiercely to face each day. With these daily affirmations, reflections, devotions, and meditations, walk with me on the recovery journey of hope, renewal, resilience, and reflection. And remember that you are not alone, one day at a time. Fair use, February 6th, a rallying point. Reading out of the Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. A rallying point, February 6th. Therefore, step 2 is the rallying point for all of us. Whether agnostic, atheist, or former believer, we can stand together on this step. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 33. I feel that AA is a God-inspired program and that God is at every AA meeting. I see, believe, and have come to know that AA works because I have stayed sober today. I am turning my life over to AA and to God by going to an AA meeting. If God is in my heart and everyone else's, then I am a small part of the whole and I am not unique. If God is in my heart and He speaks to me through other people, then I must be a channel of God to other people. I should seek to do His will by living spiritual principles, and my reward will be sanity and emotional sobriety. Fair use. Courage to change one day at a time in Al-Anon. February 6th. By the time I reached Al-Anon, I was desperate to do something about my relationship with an alcoholic. I hoped that you would tell me to throw the bum out. So I was dismayed when a member suggested that I make no major changes for 6 months after coming to Al-Anon. By the end of the 6 months, my thinking had changed dramatically, and I was grateful to have waited. At that point, something inside told me to continue to wait, to learn, to recover, before deciding about this relationship. But I hate to wait. I struggled, prayed for guidance, weighed the pros and cons. The answer was always the same: wait, do nothing yet. The time will come. That wasn't the answer I was looking for, so I ignored it, forced a solution, and walked out. I was immediately consumed with guilt and self-doubt. Had I made the worst mistake of my life? I still loved this person so much, and though I was deeply troubled, I wasn't convinced that leaving was the answer. I had to admit that I had acted prematurely. Only with more time was I eventually able to come to a decision that I knew I could live with. Today's reminder: when my thinking becomes distorted by trying to force solutions, I probably won't get the results I seek. As the saying goes, when in doubt, don't. Guide me in all I do to remember that waiting is the answer to some of my prayers, as we understood. Fair use. Just for today, daily meditations for recovering addicts. February 6th. I can't, we can. We had convinced ourselves that we could make it alone and proceeded to live life on that basis. The results were disastrous, and in the end, each of us had to admit that self sufficiency was a lie. Basic text, page 62. I can't, but we can. This simple but profound truth applies initially to our first need as NA members. Together we can stay clean, but when we isolate ourselves, we're in bad company. To recover, we need the support of other addicts. Self sufficiency impedes more than just our ability to stay clean. With or without drugs, living on self will inevitably leads to disaster. We depend on other people for everything from goods and services to love and companionship. Yet, self will puts us in constant conflict with those very people. To live a fulfilling life, we need harmony with others. Other addicts and others in our communities are not the only ones we depend on. Power is not a human attribute, yet we need power to live. We find it in power, we find it in a power greater than ourselves, which provides the guidance and strength we lack on our own. When we pretend to be self sufficient, we isolate ourselves from the one source of power sufficient to effectively guide us through life, our higher power. Self sufficiency doesn't work. We need other addicts, we need other people, and to live fully, we need a power greater than our own. Just for today, I will seek the support of other recovering addicts, harmony with others in my community, and the care of my higher power. I can't, but we can. Fair use. Today, Emotions Anonymous, February 6th. Reflection for today. I decide on a daily basis to surrender my will and my life, my thoughts and my actions to God. This step is one of total surrender. I am saying my life is yours. God, I'm willing to do your will for me. My job is to pay attention, for God does let me know what is wanted from me as I go through my day. Much of the time, it is taking care of ordinary activities. I call it putting one foot in front of the other. Meditation for today. May I have the willingness to surrender all aspects of my life to my loving higher power. Today I will remember surrender. Fair use. Strengthening my recovery. Meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. February 6th. Great 2. We became approval seekers and lost our identity in the process. BRB, Big Red Book, page 11. Yes, sir. Anything you want, sir. Whatever I can do, sir. Maybe if I do the dishes faster, Mom won't drink so much this weekend. I'll keep the little kids quieter and then Dad won't get so mad. Many of us feel we have to do for others so they will like us, so the alcoholic won't hit us, so people won't get mad at us. As adult children, we get so good at doing for others that we end up believing we're only okay if we have their approval. Those others can be bosses, friends, co-workers, spouses, and children. In ACA, we start to see this pattern of approval seeking. As a result, many of us find that we don't know what we want or how to make a decision for ourselves. Some of us can't even name our favorite color, but we sure know the favorite color of others. As we begin to discover ourselves, we learn, I'll begin again. As we begin to discover ourselves, we learn to separate the idea of a simple act of kindness from that of sacrificing ourselves in a way that destroys our self worth. We begin appreciating that we are okay and can affirm ourselves for who we are, not what we do. The affirmation: on this day, I clearly see the difference between seeking false approval and doing a good deed because it's the right thing to do. I am grateful for that realization as I live my recovery. DHB Recovery Network Daily Affirmations, Reflections, Devotions, and Meditations, read by me, Day. Share, subscribe, like, and most of all, be the you that you are created to be, one day at a time.